Hi, and welcome to the Zen Supermom podcast. The episode today is for you if you're an amazing mom and you care so much and you would do anything for your family. And that's why you're always busy and you have problems taking some time to rest. Because in your mind, there's not only a long to-do list and full calendar, because even if it would be shorter or there would be a space suddenly opening up in your calendar, you would manage to fill it in with something. Let me do this one last thing and I'm going to be with you. I'll just do this one more stuff and then I can relax. And then you get yourself 1 hour, 1 week, 1 year later, and that moment of you taking a break just never came. And all you're feeling is like total exhaustion that you need to take holidays after your holidays. Or you feel like you need to take holidays after having raised your kids for the last 10, 20 years, and just that time for a break and for enjoying your own life. What is it? Who are you still? Apart from being a mom, can you still find you somewhere there? Or do you feel it's an internal need that can never be satisfied, the need to keep yourself busy and just never stop because there's always something else and something more you should be doing? Well, if that's your case, let me give you a big hug. I know exactly what I'm talking about because this used to be me. Let's talk about it. Let's catch it before it gets out of control and before your kids grow up having the same pattern, huh? Let's talk. Hi, Supermom or Superdad. Alena here, your mommy tantrum specialist and the founder of the Zen Supermom system. And me and my team have helped hundreds of moms and dads start setting healthy boundaries with calm. And this is the first parenting podcast that is not about your kids, that shows you why none of the parenting techniques helped you stop yelling at your kids and how to control your emotions from jumping out so that you can be the safe, loving parent you wish you had growing up. This is the Zen Supermom podcast. Hi, I'm Elena. I'm a mommy tantrum specialist and I'm the founder of the Zen Supermom program where we help busy moms and dads set healthy boundaries with calm so that they can stop yelling at their kids. And today's episode is inspired not only by my own experience that I'm kind of like interweaving inside that Zen Supermom program, but it's also thanks to the feedback of our clients. Because every month we have a specific theme inside the program. And for the month of July, which is when I'm recording this podcast episode, our theme is less is more. Because after having talked about, wouldn't it be amazing if we had a great summer, not just for the kids, but for us as parents, I started getting feedback from the moms that for some of them, having the best summer ever yet, it means that they started overfilling their to-do list and their schedules with their kids. Like, yes, it would be amazing if we had a great summer. So let me plan these activities for the kids and let's do these trips and these visits. And now how do I combine my work in the middle of all of that and all the preparation that needs to be done because we need to be ready for any possible alternative. And what if the weather is not okay? What if somebody's hungry, tired and has a tantrum and like, blah, 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 blah. And then this entire, like, it blows up. So that's why our team inside the program is less is more. Because doing more doesn't always bring more value. And I bet if you're a mom or a dad who's been around for a few months or years, like your kids are not a newborn baby, you will know what I'm talking about. And so then this podcast episode is for you because it comes up often for holidays. And I was thinking about this summer even from my perspective because since I became a mom, I started doing all of these special seasons of the year with the filter of what would be best for my daughter. So all the Christmases, all the summers, all the school holidays, everything was for her to have the best time ever. And I kind of lost track of myself. So this was the first reminder when I started putting myself back in the picture. Well, what is it that I would like to do? And from there, maybe I can find something also for my husband and for my daughter that they would enjoy too, that I can sell them on the same thing. But why should I put myself not even at the bottom of the list, but like never on the list? Like, what do you guys want to do this weekend? And doing everything that they want. And then me just there like either pretending having fun or looking at the clock. Is it over yet? Can we go home now? It's like, no. Putting yourself on the list as well. And wouldn't it be fun if you could come up with some activities that you enjoy as well? But then the problem arose. Is that the right English verb form to say? Whatever, you know, you understand what I mean. Then the next level of problem came up, because if you want to add yourself on top of already full list, then we have a problem, right? There's too much already to do. And if you want to squeeze in your wishes or your space even to relax and do nothing, then how the heck do you manage that? And this is where I realized that I was struggling with a lot, because one of my classic childhood traumas, developmental trauma, no shock trauma. I cannot complain about my childhood, about my parents. They were amazing. Bless them. I will love them forever. Nothing to complain about. But the generational developmental drip trauma that I grew up with without even realizing was that I had a super busy supermom who taught me that it's not okay to relax, because there are always more things to be done, to be improved, to be worked on. And sitting down and relaxing is actually considered lazy and therefore like a low personality quality or character trait. So, and hyper achieving, always striving to do more, hardworking, trying to even overcome yourself and get better, that you were already before 100% perfect and now you're trying to be even 150% perfect. Like, that sounds even ridiculous when I say that, right? But this is the idea that you might recognize if that was the case for you as well, if you grow up in a similar environment. And while it is so common, and there are even some cultures that are based on that, especially like the Western cultures, like the work hard and play hard and just keep going. And if you want something bad enough, you need to work for it day and night. And who cares? You will just like, you need to work hard for your dreams. Well, great, amazing. But how is that working for us as moms? And what is that teaching to our kids? And what kind of example is it giving to them? And are you really even enjoying a life like this? Or are you afraid that 20, 30 years from now, you will become a resentful, bitter, like grandma, blaming them, like, you ungrateful little somebody, I devoted my best years of my life to you and you're not even taking care of me now. It's like, no, I didn't want to be that way. Chances are, if you don't want, then let's have a look into this, okay? I already bit a piece of this topic. I already started chewing on it in one of the previous podcast episodes that was labeled Best Summer Ever Yet. But this is a topic that actually comes up if you're really honest with yourself, and if you do have this hyperachiever generational trauma like I did, you will notice this is not just holidays. This is 24/7, 365, basically since you were probably 3, 4, 5 years old, all the way with you until now. And without wanting to make you feel guilty, your kids might be already showing some signs of that as well. Okay, that's why it's so important that we talk right now, you and me. Okay, ready for it? Take a deep breath in. Yes, I'm talking about trauma. And yes, I'm talking about some generational stuff. Yes, everybody has it. No, it doesn't mean we are snowflakes that like break under pressure. No, on the contrary, you don't want to be a snowflake. That's why you put on this like thick armor and you take a sword. Yeah, that's what one of my other clients was saying. I take a sword and I go into the fight. Yes, I'm talking to you. Exactly. We know what we are talking about, right? It's exhausting. And while this is what 99% of normal population think it's okay, that's actually required, right, for living your dream life and everything, I would put there a caveat. Like, yes, have ambitions, have your dream and passion for being the most amazing parent and human being in this world. Absolutely, there's nothing wrong with that. And also, let's have a look how you can do that without killing yourself, without giving yourself a burnout, exhaustion, depression, and this angry yelling, out-leashing at your kids because you're so stressed out and you never allow yourself to take any rest. So then all of this frustration comes at them through your emotional vomit. Basically, when it's too much, there's too much noise. They are not grateful for how much money and time you spent in preparing their ideal holidays because they couldn't care less. And then it all suddenly, all of that dumped up, squeezed in emotions that you've been trying to suppress, you just like, like a volcano, like a dragon spitting fire. They get the full thing, and often they have even no idea where that came from because it was that one last drop. But what they get is like buckets of stuff, and they're like, what the heck? I just said one comment and I'm getting all of this. Like, where did that come from? Well, this is where. Nothing you ever stuck inside, because this is, by the way, yes, and we made another podcast episode about it. There are moms who are yelling and they feel guilty about it. And then there are moms who think they are better because they are not yelling, but they're still feeling resentful, angry, frustrated, depressed. Like, they're still holding that grudge. They just don't vomit it on their kids, but they stuck it inside. Equally dangerous, because then the buckets will come. Maybe just once a month, maybe just once a year, but then it's going to be a proper load. Please, let's take it out. Let's heal it before it's too late. This is one of the opportunities. So, here's the deal. Hyperachiever. If you are listening now and you recognize yourself, yes, I never feel quite confident and good enough to stop my efforts and take a moment to pause, break, and celebrate how far I've come, because I always feel there's a next mountain to climb, there's another to-do list, and if I have any free time, I would feel guilty for just sitting down and taking rest. Make a tick in the box. If after you achieve it, so there's even like you get the promotion, you get the extra certification or education on top of everything else that you're doing, you do manage to prepare amazing holidays for kids with so many activities, like you do achieve some big milestone, you prepared for several weeks, months, or even years, and then how do you feel after you do it? If you allow yourself to celebrate for like 5 seconds, and then immediately the next thought comes up, okay, now this is what's next. Even higher goal, even bigger thing, and telling yourself, I cannot rest, I cannot celebrate because there's a next place, next level I need to get to right now so that I can feel good enough, because now that I've achieved this, okay, let's keep climbing, let's keep pushing hard. If you celebrate just like for a few seconds, and then there's the next mountain to climb, and you feel again like that weight on your shoulders or on your chest, tick in the box, tack. If, especially when it comes to beautiful, joyful opportunities like summer holidays that are there for you to enjoy as well, but you feel stressed out in advance because you're trying to plan so much and you're trying to organize, anticipate 10 steps ahead, and even before you get there you already feel stressed out and anxious, and what if this happens, and what if those kids, like my kids, don't appreciate this, and the weather, and what if I forget anything? So you're already starting to write a list of things to pack like weeks in advance, so that then you can just go and throw it in the suitcase because you're afraid you're going to forget something very important. If you're stressing out in advance and then you're on holidays, and instead of being there and fully enjoying in the moment, you're already thinking the next hours ahead. Okay, where do we go to eat? Because now they are getting hungry. That means soon there will be some tantrum and it's going to be a nightmare. So where's the next restaurant? Let me Google it. Oh, this one doesn't have good reviews. Oh, they don't have kids menu. And like, oh, this one is too far, and blah, 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 blah. And then you come back from the holidays and you're so happy. At least this is the familiar environment. At least there are no more unpredictable things. I'm so happy to be at home. I just have piles of suitcases and dirty laundry to wash and feeling so exhausted that I would love to leave for some deserted islands for 2 weeks just to recover from the family holidays we just came back from. If that's you, tick in the box. Congratulations. If you ticked one of these three or all three, high five. I know exactly how that feels. No, I'm not spying on you in your closet. I'm not doing a paparazzi hunt on you just to know what you're doing. I just described how it used to feel to me. Okay, this is exactly what that generational hyperachiever trauma does to you. If you want to heal it, if you want to get rid of it, the first thing is to acknowledge, yes, that's what's going on. Okay, there's nothing wrong with having ambition. There's nothing wrong with wanting to do the best for your kids. But how can you do it without really you driving yourself crazy like this? Because if you're really being honest with yourself, you recognize this is not helping anybody. Yes, it's good to anticipate and plan in advance, but also it has its limits, right? Because if you overdo it, like you're most likely doing right now, what is it costing you? What is the price you're paying? And not only for you as a human being that you actually don't enjoy, this is one of the reasons why chances are high you don't enjoy even that much being a mom in these moments, right? You enjoy it when you see the sparkle in their eyes when they're like, oh, yeah, new experiences on holidays. But that's maybe 1% of time. 99, it doesn't go the way you want. And then you're resentful and sad. And then you feel like you wasted your energy. Nobody appreciates you. They criticize you instead of appreciating how much you've done. Or you feel like they are more going towards your partner, even though it's your partner who did nothing compared to you. But he's or she's the one who's more chilled because they didn't invest so much expectations and work in the preparation. So they're just going with the flow and you're thinking, how the heck? This is not fair. I'm the one who arranged everything. And he's the one who's getting the credit for it just because by accident he found a good restaurant. Not fair. This is what your trauma is doing to you. It doesn't have to be you or them. It doesn't have to be you or partner fighting which way is the best to plan the holidays. It doesn't have to be, it's either all or nothing. It's either all of my hyperachiever, perfectionist, controller, super planning, super in advance and stressing, being anxious all the time, or then doing nothing. Like, let's not even book the tickets. Let's go to the airport and see what flies. Or let's just take the car and drive around without any reservations. Like, no, of course not. Nobody's asking you to do that. But if you started really looking underneath the surface, what's going on for you and why you're getting trapped in all of these patterns? How does that make you feel when you think about your holidays? How does it make you feel when you're thinking about using your time well? Because your time is precious, right? So what is the fear underneath you wasting your time? Because this is often one of the biggest fears, right? You wasting your time, wasting the opportunities. What are you afraid of, really? That's going to happen. And then let's dig and connect that fear with really as early as you can remember. And if it is really what was going on for me when I was growing up, you will not even be able to find the first time it happened because it was happening throughout all of your childhood. Because this was my experience with my mom. She was always the planner. She was the perfect organizer. But then she took it too far. She was too rigid with her plans. She was not in the moment, not enjoying it as well at all. And then she became the resentful victim martyr, throwing it all back on us. Like, I did it for you and you didn't even enjoy it. How dare you? And kind of like punishing us with that. While we would be fine doing 30% of these things, but just having you, mom, enjoy it with us. Yeah. This is not to blame you, shame you, make you feel guilty. I was doing exactly the same before I understood what was going on. Yeah. Because once you become more aware of understanding what's really going on underneath the surface for you, and I would invite you to join one of our mommy tantrum trainings if you want to dig deeper and if you really want to stop it once for all and just keep your strength, keep being the amazing mom without all of these trauma like layers over top. Join us for the training. Yeah. But this was when I finally realized, when I became more aware about what really generational developmental trauma is and how actually it's my past, how it's my mom's patterns, that even then, when I was aware of them, because it was kind of clear, like, yeah, I turned into my mom. I wanted to take only the best out of her, but I also took some of the things that were not really enjoyable when I was a kid. I started doing it too, right? When I realized that the awareness itself is a first important step, but that's not enough. Only after I managed to heal it with the help of professionals, because trauma healing is not a DIY. You can't do it just by journaling and reading some books about trauma. Only once I healed it, I started understanding, well, this is what, how would I call it? I don't want to call it normal, because it's normal to be traumatized these days. What is even the standard for normal? When I realized what being healed feels like, yeah, that's a better term. What is to live like without feeling the need and push and not good enough still, so that I would need to use my trauma coping mechanism to cover up for it. I stopped feeling the need to use my hyperachieving, controlling perfectionism to stop feeling good enough. Only once you get to that point, then you will be able to enjoy more. Then you will be able to fully benefit from your strengths, planning, caring a lot, like loving your family more than anything else in the world. But you will also stop being the victim of that. You will be able to become one of the participants of the experience. That you're fully there with your family, enjoying it. You're not just the victim that needs to suffer through it, or the one who takes responsibility for everything, including the weather. I feels responsible for removing any obstacles and driving it in a more perfect way than even any god could do, because you're like the master puppet, puppet master, really. You're trying to put everything and everybody in the right place so that they can have perfect holidays. Once you stop taking responsibility for that, and you can be one of the actors on the field, not just an observer or puppet master, then you will understand what I mean. And this is my wish for you. Because secretly, I'm not just doing it for you. Yes, I care about you. I love you. If you're still listening here, and maybe this is not even your first or even like 10th podcast episode, I know there are a lot of you who are like binge listening to this podcast for years. I appreciate you, and I want to help you, because I know exactly how it used to feel, and I'm still a work in progress, so I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. But secretly, I'm not even doing it for you. I'm really doing it for our kids. Because I wish somebody did that for my mom, like 40 years ago, or even earlier, before she became a mom, so that there would be less stuff to clean up for me now. But hey, this is what it is, perfectly imperfect. This is what you can do too. Rather than feeling like a victim of our imperfect parents, you can take this as a great learning opportunity for you to get to know yourself better. Heal as much as you can, so that the heritage you give to your kids is as trauma-free as possible. We will always give them stuff. Like, I know I am giving my stuff to my daughter for sure. Like, my ego is not that strong for me to think that I'm the best mom in the world and my daughter will grow up completely unimpacted by my crazy generational stuff. She will be. And she will be making her own mistakes as she grows up. She will have her own way how to prepare the holidays for her family one day. And she will have her own way how to be a mom who's working and who's taking care of the family, if she chooses to have a family one day. I'm totally fine with that. But at least those things that I need, that I know, that I'm already aware of, that this is actually within my power to clean it up, I'm doing my best to clean that up so that she has less stuff to deal with when she grows up. And I appreciate you a lot, because if you're here, I know this is what you care about as well. Yeah. So let's stop blaming it on our parents. Let's stop blaming it on the partners who are not doing enough and therefore you need to be doing so much. Let's stop blaming it on you being a single full-time working mom and therefore not having any time to rest. Like, all these things are true. I know you're not making it up. I know it's hard. I cannot imagine. Like, the stories that I hear every week, every day from women who want to talk to me because they need help, those stories are heartbreaking. And you're not making it up. It is tough. You're not playing a victim. However, once you realize where's the point of where you can have some power over it and where it is fully under your control to go and change it, one of these things is your hyperachiever, perfectionist, controller patterns from your childhood, then let's freaking do it. Can you imagine how much more energy it would free up for you? How much more time, how many more opportunities for taking a break, resting before you start running again? How much more of that you could create in your life if you only felt good enough? If you felt you have nothing to prove to anybody? If you knew that your kids actually, more than perfect activities, worksheets, trips, more than getting them bigger quantity of that, they would actually appreciate more quality time with you, especially the younger they are. How amazing would it be if you could stay at peace with that? And if you could take that quote, less is more, if you could start applying some of that without feeling like you're being lazy or that you're not doing enough, how amazing would that be? So this is my invitation for you, amazing supermom. Less is more. At whatever time of day or night you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to invite you. Start with baby steps. What is on your to-do list for the next 4 or 5 hours? And which of these things wouldn't be there if you already felt you were good enough? If you were not afraid of being judged, if you were not afraid of saying no, if you were not doing it because you want people to say thank you and you want them to love you because secretly underneath you don't feel worthy of love. Check your to-do list. Less is more. Keep me posted how this episode, like how it worked for you, if it gave you any value. I love hearing from you. Take very good care, Supermom, and have an amazing summer doing less and being more. Why can't you stop yelling at your kids? And no, it's not the stress, lack of sleep, kids not listening, fighting, hitting, no support, time pressure, ADHD, hormones. No, moms around the world are doing it regardless. How? Join us for the upcoming Mommy Tantrum training and find out too.